Round one.
Yes, I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me out.
We just gonna go off the top. We gonna go off the top. Welcome back.
Some people say cucumbers are better pickled.
What does that even mean?
A lot of people say it.
You know what? Today's your day. You know. Today we're gonna interview and pick the mind of the legend himself, Mr. Johnson. You know, some people have called him the space cowboy.
Some people call me a legend in my own right. Some people call me Mr. Big, not just because of my size. A lot of people say it though.
Do they?
Most people just call me a hero. I mean, once again, I put my pants on 2 legs at a time just like everybody else. I'm no different, but yet I am different.
Would you say that you're a different animal and the same beast?
What does that even mean?
That's something we're gonna find out here today.
Good. Let's take a deep dive into it. Let's get into the mind of I. This is a rare peek that I don't often give many people.
You know, I'd like to think I'm blessed for this, insertion.
You
Pause.
and our 2.5 viewers are going to walk away stunned, dumbfounded, if you will.
So, I feel like, is there anything off topic that we shouldn't talk about? Is there any limits that you want to put on this interview? Because you're a man of many mysteries.
Tell you the same thing I told the man at the car dealership. I want to finance this thing for as long as you can. Open book.
Open book,
Infinite.
he says. Okay.
Infinite.
Well, let's get right down to it. So, Mr. Damon, can I call you Damon?
I prefer Johnson, just Mr. Johnson.
Oh, okay. We
It's going to be professional.
Professional, nonetheless. Yeah, I don't know how long it's going to stay professional.
It'll be professional.
Okay.
It'll be professional.
Okay.
We define profession. We don't allow the definition to define us. We define it.
I like that. Now, you created this magnificent company.
I didn't do it by myself.
You didn't.
I can't take the credit of this. I can't.
So who would you credit?
Well, this thing came about when I was at home back in 2020 after being granted my furlough from a previous employer. One of the best things that ever happened in my life. It was my birthday weekend, I remember, and they called me in to let me know that my services were no longer needed. It was great. I was quiet quitting, I think, before quiet quitting was even a phrase. I believe I probably quit like 3 years before that. That nobody just said anything yet until this fine gentleman came along. And after about 2 or 3 months of pretty much just playing golf all the time, I was trying to work from home, do some stuff here and there, but nothing really stuck because it's hard for me to just sit around in front of a computer for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours without falling asleep. I'm used to being on the go. So, I'm sorry, do you need to get that?
That's unprofessional. We just go.
I'm in the middle of a wonderful diatribe here.
I'm
and
listening.
You being the interviewer and you're bringing your phone on set.
This is amateur hour. But don't worry, we're going to hit that up.
It is. But
no, we're not.
Needless to say, my wife was like, hey, well, you're playing golf all the time. You always said you want to start an online golf company or whatever, or do something. So, boom, the Nomad Golf was created. Now, I've always liked the name Nomad because I consider myself somewhat of a nomadic person, especially while playing golf because I play all over the place. But then again, too, you spell the name backwards, it's Damon. So I think it's manifest destiny, so to speak, with my name and then this name as well. So that's kind of how it was created. It wasn't me. It was what's normally behind every great human being, especially men, is a great woman. And she's the one who pushed me this way because she got tired of coming into my office finding me sleep at the desk. So.
I can see how that would get a little. So what does nomad mean to you? In your own words, because this is what you named your company after.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean for you?
Well, for me, it's very fitting because the nomadic people really didn't have a home, so they roamed. And for me, as a golfer and playing with many different types of golfers from different backgrounds, different ethnicities, we never really play the same course all the time. We're kind of all over the place. So that's where it comes from. It's just that nomadic being as far as, hey, we're not country club guys or whatever. We're more muni track guys. And we just play whoever will allow us to play. So that's kind of the thought process in behind Nomad, as well as it being my name spelled backwards. It just
like that.
It just fits. It just feels right.
So when this company, eventually becomes the multi-million-dollar company that it's meant to be,
it already is.
What are you gonna do then? When you achieve all your goals and everything that you set out for, what then?
You create new goals. Or you search for perfection even though you're never going to get there. But that's what you want, right? So you're always chasing after that. It's like what was Lexus' old tagline, the never-ending pursuit of excellence, or Kaizen, as the Japanese would say. That's right, we threw in Kaizen because we know stuff.
Diversified.
Right. Shout out to Japan.
Okay.
So is that something I can't say? Nothing dropping. We're
not beholden to anyone. That's your
I
motto here.
mean, people don't have a cornerstone on good ideas. I mean, no individual has a cornerstone on good ideas or bad ideas. And you only have to be good at something or have one idea go right one time. So in order for you to be deemed successful by the masses. But people don't know how many bad ideas you had to where you failed, right? So you just gotta keep plugging along. Just keep chopping wood. You don't normally chop down that tree the first swing of the axe. You gotta keep going at it.
So consistency is key, is what you're saying.
Consistency most definitely is key. Right now, I'm like a woodpecker in a petrified forest. I mean, just keep pecking away and look for opportunities.
I like that analogy.
Go ahead, write that down. You got your book? Got your pen?
I got my book.
You don't have a pen.
You're
penless.
I use blood to transcribe. I want to switch gears for a minute because we always talk about your company. We always talk about Nomad Golf because this is the Nomad Golf podcast.
That's what it is.
We're doing an interview on the man himself.
Mm-hmm.
So outside of business, are you willing to talk about your personal life?
My personal life is an open book. Everybody knows. Who needs to know?
So how many kids you got? You got any kids?
I do.
How many kids you got?
I got 3 that are here and 1 that's everywhere.
I like that. Now, I remember asking this question.
And I got grandkids.
You do got grandkids.
I'm a girl granddad, apparently.
Yeah.
So.
Are you ever hoping for a grandson?
Well,
I'm sure one of them will give it to you.
I'm thinking the one in Florida is going to be as close as I get. She's aggressive from what I understand.
It's okay, baby girl. We're going to work on that. You're not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You're not wrong. But, hey, we got time. We got plenty of time, if nothing else.
We do. Well, that's one thing we don't know. We don't know how much time we have.
You got at least 24 hours in a day.
No, you don't know that. People leave home to go to work, kiss their wife, their kids goodbye, say, I'll see you later. They don't know they're coming back. Nobody knows. You don't know the time. You don't know the month. You don't know the date. So you really don't know. That's why Carpe Diem. Seize the day. Make every second count. Make every moment count.
That's an interesting way that you look at life. Because a lot of people, if they were to think that, hey, today is my last day, or hey, today is my last week, they'd be like, I'm going to sit in the house, I'm going to catch up on my shows, and this and that. But you seem to be a man full of life. You seem to be someone that,
Ever since I suffered that sugar I mean, it gave me a totally new outlook on things. So, and one of my favorite songs by the great Tim McGraw, "Live Like You Were Dying." That's the thing. And one of the great quotes from Malcolm X or El Haj Shabazz was that he lived like a man who died 20 years ago, right? He's afraid of nothing. And I think you shouldn't be afraid of anything. Because the worst thing in the world for supposedly people that can happen to you, the worst thing is that you die, right? Mm-hmm. It's like people say, oh man, I had a bad day at work, or I had a bad day at home, or I don't know, I'm in a bad headspace. Question is, but did you die? Right? No, you didn't die.
I always picture that one guy from The Hangover saying,
right, yeah. But did you die? No. So it's not that bad. You should never have a bad day. You may have a bad moment, but you shouldn't let it be a bad day.
So you don't let a bad moment dictate the rest of your
I used to. I used to be horrible at that. Used to be very, very bad at that.
What changed?
Well, I started listening to more motivational and positive things, or whatever. Not so much of the hip hop that I would listen to all the time. That would, because garbage in, garbage out. Now there's a time for that. There's a time and place for that. Mm-hmm. But when you let that consume you, and not only just hip hop, I used to be a news head where I watched the news all the time, and always into politics and all that stuff.
So constant tragedy, one after
the other. Just one after the other. So it's just very, very negative. So I started listening to more motivating things, and pretty much our motivational stuff is pretty much all the same. It all comes down to attitude, right? Mm-hmm. You can have two totally different views of the world based on your attitude and how you view it. You can view it from the standpoint that you're always a victim, right? Oh, I can't do this because they did this to me, or I could have made it, but I had this one setback. Or you can look at it from the standpoint that it's just another opportunity, right? Mm-hmm. And you can just stay positive. And if you view it from a positive standpoint, you can manifest more positivity. If you're constantly being negative, then you're going to manifest more negative things or whatever. So you just need to look at things through, and it's 100% on you, right? Your attitude is 100% on you. So you just need to look at things from a more positive prism as opposed to a negative prism.
Would you say that your life since switching your outlook has been more positive? Have you achieved more things since having that kind of mindset?
I don't know if I've achieved more things, but I think it's been more positive because my viewpoint is more positive. So, I mean, case in point, I don't know how many people are going to watch this, but me and my previous employer decided to go our separate ways like mid-October. Now, I knew this was coming because I was starting to change my outlook on things. I was moving from that negative to more of a positive mindset or whatever. So I started cleaning out my office probably in August, I think, maybe September. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I knew it was coming that way because I was transforming from viewing things in a different light. And to me, nothing against that company, but for me, it was toxic. Right. And it wasn't good. It wasn't the right place for me. So around about the same time as my review came up in October, it was around about the same time when I got to the point where, hey, this isn't working out.
It's not me, it's you kind of thing.
Right. Well, it was about the same time they figured that, hey, this isn't working out. Right. So we both came to the meeting of the mind.
So it's a mutual breakup.
Right. It was actually a beautiful thing, I thought. I thought it was good. I don't think that they thought that's where it was going at the beginning of the review or whatever. But we quickly got on the same page, I think. So I thought it was a good thing.
And how's your mindset and well-being since leaving such a toxic environment?
I think I fell off a little bit from listening to so much of my motivational stuff. Mm-hmm. Which I need to get back on that. I don't think it's changed my outlook. I think I'm still positive. I wake up every day with gratitude and being thankful for everything. But now I think I'm noticing the little things because a lot of times in my previous world, I missed out on a lot of stuff and I wasn't present in moments where I should have been present because I was always thinking about work. or whatever. And I think now I'm more present where I'm in my space.
When you say you missed out on things, are you referring to like personal matters?
Yeah, more
health
personal
matters?
things. That too. I mean, everything outside of work I missed out on, I think. Now don't get me wrong, I always played a lot of golf, but even then, playing golf and going on these golf trips, a lot of times I still wasn't present because I was still having to work. I always had my laptop, I always had my phone, and all that stuff.
What is that saying that you always, you tell your kids, you tell your employees, you tell everybody that you're around, wherever you are, there you are.
And I wasn't.
Mm.
That was the thing. But that's something I just learned too myself. Thanks, Hove. Shout out to Jay-Z, Sean Doc Carter, for the right price. He can make your shit hotter. But but that was the thing. I wasn't present. But that's when I started, moving more away from my job or whatever, because I started being more present, like wherever I was, and enjoying that time. So now, like, little things, I just enjoy little things now. It doesn't have to be a big deal. Because the one thing that you can't get back is time, right?
That is the most expensive thing in the world that I've come to learn.
Absolutely. You can't get it back. So, like, if you break a law that's so bad and so egregious, what do they take away from you?
Your time.
Right? So, you have to try to do things that you actually enjoy doing, right? Because like they say, if you can find a job that you actually enjoy doing, it doesn't feel like work. So, I'm still trying to figure that out, right? I'm still trying to figure out, what do I want to do? The world is my oyster. I know what I don't want to do, which I think is good. I think that's a plus when you know what you don't want to do. But the big thing is finding out what it is that you want to do. Because I always hear a lot of these motivational speakers, like, everybody has a purpose, right? Mm-hmm. Some would say, well, if you don't know what your purpose is, it's whatever it is that you do the best with the least amount of effort, right?
What would you say that is for you? If you have to choose top 5 things that you can do
with the least amount of effort?
With the least amount of effort, but you feel like you put the maximum effort into it.
Well, that's the crazy thing.
Other than golf, obviously.
I don't think there's anything that I've ever done that I've put my maximum amount of effort in, probably except for my previous job. That was the thing, because I was so dialed in. And I was only so dialed in because I was there for, not my previous job, but the job before this last one. But I was there for 8 years. I was so dialed in for 3 years. I put my maximum effort in, and it worked. In the last 5 years, I didn't really put much effort in there.
I feel like I've seen you put a lot of maximum effort into being a grandfather.
I think my thing is, I think I can always do better. I never think, hey, this is the best I can do. I always think, no matter what, I always think I can do better at something. No matter what it is, I can always be better. So that's the push.
Would you say you're your biggest critic?
Oh, absolutely. And I think you should be. All of us greats are. I mean, Michael Jordan, Ted Triber, Albert Einstein, Mahatma Gandhi. Not that I want to be named in the same
You just named some of the most intelligent minds in our history and human history.
Right.
And added yourself to the list.
It was a Freudian slip.
I see. You're throwing a lot of big words at me, and because I don't understand them, I'm going to take them as an insult.
Don't take them as disrespect. Get yourself a glossary. A thesaurus, maybe. Encyclopedia Britannica. But no, I think probably what comes easy for me, it didn't used to be, but one thing that comes easy to me is just talking to people. That's one of the things that comes easy to me. Now, it may not make a lot of sense sometimes, the things that maybe I talk about, but it's just, I'm comfortable in any room that I go into.
That's an impressive thing.
Yes, no matter what. I'm comfortable wherever I go.
Because I feel like a lot of us, and I always try to take a page out of your book, but I feel like a lot of us. A lot of, when I say us, I say people of my generation, or just people in the world in general. When we go into certain rooms or certain environments, we end up, putting on a mask. I remember there was this quote that I heard, not too long ago, and it said that I played a fool for years because I didn't know that the world was a costume party, and here I am wearing my actual face while everyone else is wearing a mask.
That is true. That is true. That reminds me of something. And I don't know whoever that was who said that he must have been a great human being. Or she. I don't want to be biased here.
No, it's
He or she.
2023.
He or she, a great human being. But I remember back, this is eons way before I got married or whatever, out on the dating scene, me talking to my boy or whatever about, you know, dealing with women and women dealing with us. And my thing was, this is the thing. When you first meet someone, you don't meet that person. You meet their representative. You don't truly meet that individual. They're going to give you or show you what they think you want to see, right? And as long as you don't screw it up within the first 30 seconds, you got your take-home order. You're good. Probably shouldn't say that, but this is years ago.
You know, we're beholden to no one. This is authentic.
Right. So, but that's the thing, though, and I think that's what interviews are for. Like with jobs, you don't know. I mean, resumes, same thing. That's why I used to tell my people in my previous employers, I was like, hey, you don't know what you have until you bring them in. Everybody looks good in shoulder pads and shorts, right? But you don't know what you got until you bring them in. So, and even then, it's going to take 2 or 3 weeks for you to be able to figure out what you have. Because a lot of people can fake it for a week, 2, 3 weeks, but eventually you're going to be able to see what you have. You just have to be mindful and watch and see what you have. And then you have to determine, especially if you're going to be managing or supervising an individual, you got to be able to determine, okay, is this something I can work with? Is this person coachable? Because for me, the majority of the times I try to hire people who are reasonable. Because if you're reasonable, I can reason with you. I can have conversations with you. But if you're not reasonable, then I know it's just not going to work. I'm not going to be able to show you the things that I need to show you, and you're not going to be able to grasp the things that you need to grasp in order for you to be successful in whatever it is that we're trying to do.
I like that. I like that. You know, as we talk about, you say now you're better with talking to people.
Now, I think I've always been good with talking with people. I just wasn't comfortable with always talking to anybody, right? Now I'm more comfortable with just talking to, and with what I did, I didn't have a choice anyway though. But that wasn't always the case. You have to get to that point, and that's just life skills that you build up. But now I have always been comfortable in any room I go into though, because I'm comfortable with who I am. I'm comfortable in my own skin.
And how did that come about? Was it something that like you were just raised into?
I mean, that's 100% my dad on that.
How so?
Because the one thing that I remember my dad always telling me that always stuck out was that whenever he wanted to be impressed, he just looked in the mirror. So yeah, and that's just always stuck with me. I never really worried about what other people think. It just doesn't matter. It's whatever I think, which is probably even worse than whatever they think, because I'm going to be my worst critic anyway. But I've always been that way. Really, I never really got caught up in the fad as far as clothes and all that stuff. Hey, this is a new thing out. This is the hot thing out. This is what I want to wear. This is what I want to do.
That wasn't you. I've always seen your fashion style. Right?
Yeah, it's
colorful,
different, right?
It's colorful.
It used to be. I've changed now that I'm older. I still got it, but I just don't. I don't wear it. But I was comfortable in that. I'm like cool. Like I can go out. Like when we went out and did the Hickory Golf, or whatever, I had the knickers on. Out here in the middle of the country, the only one that looked like us.
That's very true.
I'm comfortable with that. I'm fine.
Yeah, no issues.
None. I don't care what they think. I look good, I thought. No,
You did.
I look
very
good.
dapper Dan goes to the golf course.
And then how I even got into that, I met this guy. Well, I found this guy online. He makes knickers or whatever. And I wanted him to make me some because we go on these golf trips every year. And I wanted him to make me a pair of these knickers or whatever. So, and he actually lived not far from where I lived, where I was staying in another city, not too far from here. And I met him and he gave me what it was, I had to go buy the pants. And then he would cut them off and make the knickers out of them so you can choose whatever kind of pants you want. And then he's like, well, have you ever thought about playing hickory golf? And I just love golf. I don't care. I don't care if it's little 5, 6 year old kids on TV doing drive, chip, and putt, or if it's pros or whatever. I just love the game of golf.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, no, I've never tried that. He's like, hey, well, we got this group of guys that, you know, we go out and we play hickory golf with the old hickory. And I'm like, with the old hickory clubs, like the sticks. He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, that might be pretty cool. So then I started asking, how do I go about getting some and all this stuff? He's like, well, I've got several sets. You can come out with us, see if you like them, and then, you know, we can go find, you know, some and put some together, and you can start playing. Okay. So I did that with them for like maybe a year, where we would just go out, we'd go play hickory, which was a cool group of guys, which from a totally different background from me, as you can imagine. I think there was one other brother out there, but I mean, cool guys. I mean, first tee, you drink a shot of scotch or whatever. Play your 18, right? Number 18, you finish up, you drink another shot of scotch. Okay, I mean, and just really cool, down to earth people.
So those are just people that you just met out of the blue.
Yeah, just by happenstance. Which I don't think anything happens by happenstance. I think it was meant for me to meet those individuals. Because, I mean, I really enjoy playing with the hickories. Now, I hadn't played with them in like 3 years since we went out last week and played with them. Mm-hmm. But I just missed that. I missed how fun it was actually playing with those particular golf clubs.
You should hit those guys up, see what they're doing. Go back to...
I don't have time right now. I'm so busy. I've got a lot of stuff going on.
You know what?
Like, we're doing interviews.
We just spoke. What is the most tangible... I can't say tangible. What is the most important piece that you have in life? It's time.
It's time. It's right.
So true. If you want something, you make time for it.
Right. So obviously I don't want to do it right now. Right. I mean, one of the things I do miss, and I told even my golf, I miss going out just playing by myself or whatever. And then maybe getting paired up with somebody, preferably not. You know, I just like going by myself. You be alone with your own thoughts. Because on the golf course, it's a lot like fishing for people who fish. I'm not one of those people, but I would think it's a lot like fishing because you're there alone with your own thoughts. You can clear your head or whatever, especially if you walk. I mean, it's even better. So, I mean, it's therapeutic. So I think if I play with the hickories, I would prefer to walk and just be alone with me and my thoughts.
I like that.
Come up with some great ideas when you're by yourself sometimes.
What's the top 5 ideas that you come out?
Well,
what do you think about? Are you thinking about podcasts? You thinking about live?
Podcasts, stuff to put on T-shirts.
Which, by the way, I love the sayings on the T-shirts. You know, it's gotten me through a lot of good times.
Yeah,
I always get asked questions. Where did you get that?
Right. I mean, just come up with things, because I think we're all innately creative in our own ways. Mm-hmm. We just have to figure out a way how to put that creativity out there or whatever, however we deem to do it. Some people are creative in the kitchen with cooking, baking, or whatever. And I don't think when we create things, I don't think that's something we should just hold to ourselves. I mean, we should let other people enjoy whatever that creation is.
You're dropping off a lot of gems today. I don't know if our subscribers have their baskets ready.
You're a little too young to remember Gene the Jeweler in Paris, Texas. You probably know Jacob. Jacob the Jeweler. You ever heard of him? The jeweler to the hip hop stars. I'm akin to those individuals. You know, I'm giving you free jewelry right now, though.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, like I said, some people call me a hero. I wouldn't. I would stop short of that. But most heroes wear leather jackets with big lapels.
Yeah, you're very reminiscent of Richard Roundtree right now.
Big shout out to Double R, rest in peace. So that's what I thought about today when I put this on. I'm coming in with a shaft mindset because, you know, he's a bad mother.
Shut your mouth.
I will.
See?
Bingo.
Well, thank y'all for tuning in. You know, this is only part 1 of Talking with the Giant. That's what we're going to call this one, Talking with the Giant.
Lou Alcindor, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 2 great people, 1 great name.
I like that.
Fade to black.
Let the credits start to roll.
Yeah.